Cool. So we are officially live. Once again, you guys, just announcing who this is. This is my long-term close friend, Wesley Armstrong, who has afforded me some awesome time, as he says he always will do. And to date, he has not failed me. We are well over a decade and a half strong with this friendship. Actually, let's do that math again. We estimate somewhere in high school, so it's about, let's say, 14, 15 apiece. Let's say 15 years old.
Yep.
I'm now 36. So 15
around,
plus 15, 30.
I'm around the same age.
So around the same age there.
Probably less.
So 21. We'll say 21 years.
Yeah.
Well over 2 decades together, man. So super happy to be connecting. And it's funny because all these things have led us around to this podcast now in a sense of I want people to understand who you are. And then from there, I'm going to show them and ask you especially how you are navigating these waters when it comes to your health, the full spectrum of health, from your physicality to your mental well-being. This is all part of health. So tell me this, or tell them that. Who are you and what do you do?
I'd like to say your generation's young hype Spike Spielberg, and that's kind of like an amalgamation of my favorite directors, Steven Spielberg, Hype Williams, and Spike Lee, if you will. I like to be people's one-stop shop for everything, in terms of directing, editing, producing, concepting their ideas and making them come to life. So really bridging the gap between traditional and digital media. I'm also an influencer, a personality online.
You are.
I've grown my career's really grown by me putting myself in front of the camera. And now I'm in a transition phase where I'm going to be really behind the camera a lot, really directing. This fall, I'll be directing my first feature with the producers of American Pie.
Okay.
I just now finished up, 3 major commercials for Allstate. So my career is really, going in the direction that I've been hoping for and, really been manifesting for all these years. And, it doesn't happen on my time, it happens on God's time. That's for sure. And, along the way, I've watched tons of people blow up in various different ways. And, it's really, as a creative, it's hard not to let that distract you, but I've really been, I stay focused on what it is that I've, set my mind to in terms of my career. So that's a little bit about me. Right?
Okay. It's funny because you mentioned time. Okay. So from when we were 15 years old until now, let's just say we're both over 30.
Yeah.
24 hours is what our day is still bound by. Yep. The same requirements are still here for our functioning daily. We still need 6 to 8 hours of sleep. So these things have not changed. But we have, as you articulated a moment ago, we've traversed a lot in our time. And we have a lot more what I call hats of responsibilities. Yeah. Things we have to, things that we don't have to, but we take pride in being responsible or a good steward over. For instance, have a wife and 2 children. You don't currently have children, but this is not to say you're not extremely busy. So with that being said, you don't have but so much time, but I've been watching you maintain your health awesomely in the last while here. Tell me this, man, what is your approach at this moment to your physical health? I mean, clearly you're a specimen. Everyone can see that.
My approach is, I've always been an active person, and quarantine's kind of put me on this journey of merging, understanding the meaning behind mind, body, and spirit, and the oneness in that. And I kind of made the decision. I've been working out for 3 years. The first time I decided to work out 3 years ago, I connected with my boy Omar, and it was really about, I wanted to get this superhero action figure physique. And I wanted to do it because I wanted to shoot a short film where I created a superhero. And after I did that, it was like 6 to 8 months. After I did that and I shot it, I was like, I really like that. But I don't want to stop doing this. So I kept going. And I approached the workout still with a mindset prior to like lifting, like, 3 sets of whatever. Just like, I don't feel like doing this, but I'll do it because I have to,
Okay.
And I did that for a good 2 years. So my mental wasn't right working out. And then quarantine hit and everything slowed down. I had a chance to slow down, and I don't know what clicked, but, I took a month off or 2 months off from working out and got into like finances and financial literacy. And then it came time to like start working out again. And I was like, wow, everything I learned, was based off my mind and my intuition. What if I applied the same thing to working out and being aware of what I'm doing and, really like taking my time and then just positively reinforcing like, hey, I want to do this. I want to get to the other end of this. And that changed my whole mental capacity in terms of like approaching working out, because working out now I had a better foundation, a better base to approach these workouts, and watching how my body and my mind transform at the same time. So now, like when I work out, I talk to myself and I talk myself through it and give myself positive affirmations like, yo, you can do this. Yo, it's just one set. Give me one at a time. Keep pushing, Wes. I talk to myself constantly about, yo, you're great, you're better, and feeding that into myself. Like I took a deep dive into myself and understood like, yo, if I, because I was doing this unconsciously already, but now like being aware of telling myself these things, I then started to just become better, become stronger, become smarter, become wiser.
Yeah.
And I won't say I am, like what I discovered about that in itself and discovered about myself is I'm a very lazy person. I'm a procrastinator. And the biggest thing is to fight against that inner voice, really fight against that inner voice. And that is a constant battle I'm always in, whether it's lifting weights, whether it's doing my work, whether it's waking up in the morning. Like that discipline is the battle I'm against. And this is my one ticket in life. It's my one ticket in life. So, it's time to cash in and make those deposits as much as possible. And like you said, there's only 24 hours in a day. And that's one thing that just obsessed me. I'm like, yo, why is it only this many hours in a day? Why? I need more, so I'm trying to take advantage of as many hours as I can. So that's kind of like my...
Man, you said so many highlights there that really got my mind running here. So one of the things I really want to ask about was this one. Is you talked about the positive affirmations you give yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, and it seems to me that this seems to be more so a practice you put into place more over now in 2020, that your life has been not stopped, because Lord knows you're working like crazy still, but you now have more time to be, as I understand most creators have to be, in solitude. So that forced you to be a little more introspective for the moment. So now you're thinking about yourself, you're in your head in a positive way, but you're in your own head helping yourself out. Positive affirmations about what get you out of the bed in the morning time, as an example.
Positive affirmations in terms of like
you said, you said you're oftentimes a procrastinator. So you lay in the bed and don't want to get up. Do you not think about it and just automatically move in autopilot? Or do you say to yourself, hey, there's a larger reason why I have to get up? My heart health, my mental health.
That's what it is. It's a large reason I have to get up. I have, like there are goals here that I've set in place, and, understand by, I put everything in front of me. I have my goals written down. Something I can glance over and look at and remind myself, oh yeah, I can do this. There's always something to do. There's always something to do. And I started reading this book, The 5 a.m. Club. And I'm not done with it yet, but there's so many quotes inside of there that just motivate me on like getting a jump start on the day, waking up at 5 in the morning and giving that first hour to yourself, because that's the only hour that my phone's not ringing, that, people don't need me, that I can have to myself to just focus in, center myself, have my tea time. I have my own morning routine now. And it's hard to stick to some days, but as I get further along in this book, I already know, like, there's going to be a countdown. Like some of my friends have completed the book and they're like, yeah, I'm on day 33, 5 a.m. every day. I'm on day 66. Man, I stopped counting now, and I want to get to that level because I know that my life will be ultimately optimized at that point.
So it sounds to me like what you're doing at 5 a.m. is, for everyone who doesn't realize this, Wesley is actually in LA. He's in California. He's on Pacific Standard Time. So 5 o'clock in the morning, as it sounds to me, is well before well, most people are actually up in California, but beyond that, because you are 3 hours behind, it's actually before the business day of the East Coast can start to tiptoe into your world. So you're prioritizing yourself before you start partitioning yourself out throughout different projects. I oftentimes preach 3 things. And I say these 3 things must be done in a synergistic effect. Synergy meaning all 3 things come together for one common goal. The common goal here is health. So it sounds to me like the first thing that you're using or you're prioritizing is your mental well-being. And just for a moment here, being introspective. But from an exercise standpoint, where do you, from a physical exercise standpoint, what do you prioritize when it comes to your daily livings? Cardio, strength training, nutrition. Let's talk about cardio initially here. What are you doing for your cardio?
So cardio is Tuesday and Thursdays. I run a minimum of 2 miles. And, because I'm asthmatic, like that is it's a big thing for me. I would like my lungs to be great. The main thing,
you're asthmatic in California right now in the midst of these fires.
Yeah, exactly.
Yikes.
Like last week I was just kind of like indoors. And what's crazy? My asthma, I have not had to use my inhaler in months now. I started taking CMOS, and that's just like, I started taking CMOS. I stopped drinking milk. I think I told you this before. I cut all dairy out, and because I realized like that mucus just builds up in my system.
Okay, so the inflammatory response of lactose was really irritating your asthma
for my whole life.
Oh, okay.
So now I just drink water. Drink water. I meal prep, I decided to eat a whole lot cleaner. I don't eat red meat at all, actually. Maybe I'll do an Impossible Burger here and there, but mainly it's fish, salmon, rice, some greens, fruits, a lot of mangoes, and watermelons.
So this meal already sounds pretty phytonutrient rich, which makes a ton of sense for someone like yourself. Again, I believe we should all approach our health and fitness in regard to, obviously, health and fitness will have you in a, functioning as a human being, at par. But additionally here, we want to make sure we're taking in enough for what we're going to be doing. For instance, LeBron James has a certain diet consumption based off his lifestyle and what's required for what he does. Yourself, while there are physical demands of your job, a lot of that actually is conceptualizing different ideas. So mental power and abilities are very important. So, of course, it sounds to me like you're very labor intensive when it comes to your meal prep on having phytonutrients in place. You call off mango, the nutrient rich sea moss. And your biggest thing now, it sounds like, because you said your whole life dealing with asthma, and I totally forget that you are asthmatic, has been ensuring that you don't take on additional things that inflame your body. And you found that a lot of land animals, to include lactose, were the triggers of that inflammation, huh?
Yeah.
So tell me this then, man. People have seen you in multiple skits on a regular basis. If you guys haven't seen this guy on every platform making you laugh, you're really missing out. Definitely know that he's there in all kinds of capacity. Comedy, not the only one, but comedy, definitely one of the most notable ones to date, but so much more to come. They've seen your body before, ripped to the bone. How does a man over 30-something years old stay ripped to the bone when it comes to this strength training? What are you doing when it comes to your muscles?
So training with Omar, it's a lot of HIIT training. There's cardio mixed in with everything, and a lot of core, a whole ton of core. What I found, when I first started working out, I was having like a lot of lower back problems. And he was always telling me, your core isn't strong. So that's what we're going to focus on. So we focused on core heavy, and we implement it in everything that we do. And it's been great. So there's a lot of pushing and pulling, a lot of heavy lifting, and really just, it's the best part about working out isn't just lifting weights, but it's the conversations we have about bettering ourselves and pushing ourselves. And last week I was like, man, you know what? I could just work out at home. And so that's what I did all last week. I was like, I could just probably work at home. And yesterday I went in with them and I started working out. I was like, damn, you know what? This is why I come here to work out with you guys, because we built a brotherhood. We have great conversation and we motivate each other. Like out here in LA, it's a bubble. It's a creativity bubble. And it's really easy to look at what the next person is doing. But when you have a group of friends that are like, yo, that's really good. That's dope. Hey, this is what I got going on. It motivates you to be like, I got to tell them what I got going on next as well. You know what I mean? So they can, we keep pushing each other.
Literally iron sharpening iron.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's a great group of guys that I'm around. And we're all in different fields. We're all in different fields, but they cross over in different ways.
Uh-huh. So you found yourself in what I think is a common thing that we all need to do. If you picture early man, we were out here in the woods, the very basic version of us, okay? But what happened is we had a lot of congregation. So in the morning time, or every other morning or whatever it may have been, as you said to yourself, you found yourself hearkening to the gym location with your gym partners. So you had a collective of you guys, not just for accountability here, but for the fellowship. But what happened is earlier on with men, we were out here as hunter-gatherers, hunters. So as a hunter, you were out here, me, you, and a few other guys chasing the fat of the land, chasing the actual animal that's out there to feed our family. But in the midst of this, we're not killing and slaying back and forth like Spartans. We're actually out here spending hours, not seeing animals, but still collectively connecting to one another here. So that kind of, I think, common ground being found and that inadvertent fellowship is what we've gotten away from. But when it comes to the idea of actually exercising, you have a partner there with you, while you guys are still focused on the actual repetitions and what you're doing, you still have that moment in time to still come together the same way we would at an earlier man, to include the gatherers. So traditionally here, the gatherer would have been the female, but still she was not gathering by herself. She was still with other females. So she was having a chance to collectively talk with one another here. So I think when it comes to exercising, there's so much more than just the physical reward that comes. It's also exercising the mind and putting ourselves back into a position that we were originally meant to be in, which is physically exerting ourselves, but beyond that, connecting to one another, as it sounds to be the case here when you find yourself back in the gym as your preferred form of
big time
of exercise.
It starts my day, like I work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and it really just jumpstarts my day. Monday's my favorite day of the week because it's the week to set the tone, or it's the day to set the tone for the rest of the week. And I love waking up on Mondays. When I see memes like, it's Monday, I'm like, what? This is the best day. Let's go.
Yeah.
Because I think about what I'm about to do for the rest of the week, and there's always something to do. Always.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. So I'm super glad that you have found such an awesome balance with your health and fitness, of course, in the midst of such tumultuous time. But beyond that, in the midst of very busy careers. I wanted to really make sure I talk to you, connect to all of the followers and listeners here at Heat Extreme, of course, in your platform as well, to let them know that while you may not be busy in what people think is a traditional sense of busy, which is, marriage and children, you are still probably twice as busy because of all of the hats, responsibilities that you wear, multiple platforms that you're responsible to, but you still manage to get your health prioritized. I think one of the biggest takeaways here, for me at least, talking with you, was the idea of prioritizing your health before the day begins. And it just so happens to be that early in the morning before the business day begins, you start the business of self. Yeah.
Real self-care is the best care, like I want to exhaust my body. I want to go forever if I could, If I got 2 tickets to life, I would take it. But, we get this one. And, it sometimes it makes me down, like, we only have one life, but that concept in itself is just like, all right, well, like, let me just go hard, because, like, who knows, like, today could be my last day. You never know. And I would like to know that I did everything I could to live my life to, beyond the limits of living. I think about, like, I really think about that all the time. Just like, dang, man, this is the one life that we have. Like, I don't want to waste it. I want to, like, a lot of people will tell you, focus on one thing. And I'm just not a believer in focusing on one thing, because you could be a person that likes a whole bunch of things. Just give each, pour a little bit of yourself in each of them,
It's natural. The duality of man.
Yeah, like, why not? I love editing. I love acting. I love directing. I love producing. I love creating. Why can't I do it all? The internet allowed me to do everything I ever wanted to do. Everything. And I love that. And I love, I love watching my friends excel at what they love to do, because they're completing goals. Like, when I see your stuff, I'm like, Ron, that's what's up, man. Like, that's what's up. You've taken it and you just continue leveling up, and it's just like the sky's the limit in terms of where you're going and what you're doing and how you're motivating people and how you're bringing people together. Like, it's so dope to watch just each of these phases that you've gone through, from competing to where you're at now. It's amazing to watch.
Absolutely. Well, man, I appreciate it big time. I don't want to hold you up. I know you got a real packed day here. We definitely got to connect again super soon here.
Absolutely.
Again, Wesley, I appreciate you so much, brother.
Hey, man, thank you for having me on, bro. Anytime you need me. Anytime.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. We'll definitely do it again, all right?
All right, man. Take care.
All right, bro. I'm in the podcast now.
All right.
Peace.